We got Ula Tinsley. No, she's not bizarre. I have to make her smile. I see her there. And she's joining us today on the Robert Scott Bell Show. And we got hashtag Megaphone Marine Hour 2, Cordy Lee Williams. But Ula, welcome back to the Robert Scott Bell Show. I'm going to take a break. I'll be back in a couple hours. You good?
Well, thank you. Yes. Hello, everybody.
Ula, remind everybody about what you're doing because you're in school at Trinity School of Natural Health, taking one of the
That's right.
advanced programs there. And maybe you give a little insight into the program. How far along are you? What you're learning? What's jumping out at you right now?
Well, I already completed, I believe, 8 months or 9. I'm close to finishing my CNHP certificate. So I'm very excited to learn about nutrition and about not only just anatomy and, the functioning the body structures and functions, but actually a lot about nutrition, a lot about health conditions, even autoimmune conditions, and holding on to the excess weight that even when you're eating clean and eating healthy and exercise, even 5 times a week, you gain your weight. Why? What's going on? So they teach me inside information, which I'm willing to share, and everyone should know that.
Well, we're going to dive into that today. That's one of the key points of weight loss, but the stubborn loss that doesn't happen, the weight that stays no matter what. And you've described a scenario that can frustrate both men and women, but more women apparently than men in this regard, where they're doing everything right. They're eating clean foods. They're exercising like crazy, right? And yet they can't drop certain elements of the weight. And it's not something that we haven't covered on the show, but it's not an everyday topic. And it goes into something that's beyond just the physiological metabolism of fat, right? Caloric burning. That there is a protective mechanism that's playing itself out physically that's more closely akin to emotional states. And let me just show everybody for those of you watching at robertscottbell.com/listen, you can watch there too, or later on the video version at Brighteon. The notes are linked up. We've got Ula right there, and you see her lovely family with her husband and 2 children. Also, just a quick reminder for the Advanced Medicine Conference. Unfortunately, it's not going to be close to Ula, where we had hoped it was in North Carolina. It's going to be in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Did you get permission to fly to South Dakota? That's too much, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
All right. Well, maybe you'll stream it. But folks that can't attend with us, you can stream it live. We've got links to the tickets there. We cover the CDC probing another death. But here's Ula. And she's also known as Autism Mama Bear. She's got a podcast, Autism Mama Bear Talk. And I think I was on it once. I think you've erased that. You did erase that.
No, I didn't.
I thought I told you to erase it. It was horrible. I was so embarrassed.
We can do another one. Talk
Yes,
more about the homeoprophylaxis and everything else. Yes.
Right. And Ula is also known as the cruise director on the Robert Scott Bell Show. She's definitely keeping things entertaining. And when we do our Ask Me Anythings for our patron supporters, we miss Ula every time she's 5 minutes late, and we ask for a note from her husband. He never provides it, though. You just say, you just got to trust me on this. And we do. But our next one is Saturday morning. That's the 24th. That's tomorrow morning the West Coast, 9 a.m., noon Eastern, midday on a Saturday. And again, it's a different one. We've never done this, but we wanted to give a little shout out and thanks to those in Europe, that we do have European fans and listeners, UK and Europe, and they didn't want to be up in the middle of the night. I don't know why, even though some of them have. So we're going to do that for those of you who want to participate in our next Ask Me Anything, and ask Super Don almost anything. And Ula, you can ask her something too. She's going to be good. So we're looking forward to that. So are you clear to, because that's noon your time?
Yes. Oh yeah, I'll be there.
Okay, super duper. That's going to be great. So let's address what you were bringing up, something that I've seen clinically speaking, and people that I've tried to help over the years, where they do everything right, and yet they're like, I can't lose this belly fat. No matter what I do, I can't burn off. And of course, the medical profession says, come on in, we'll liposuction that stuff out, right?
Yeah.
And
Yes.
it can be very dangerous. People have died from that procedure, and I'm not encouraging that. But I think there's some things that are missing, and you're learning about at Trinity as well, that you can bring out today. And we've got a couple of links to weight loss issues in the show notes for those that want to learn more. What would you say is something that you're learning about that stubborn, I'm doing everything right, but I'm still not losing anything?
So that's a very interesting part, which, I struggle with losing weight. Because every woman wants to be at ideal weight, and I hate BMI because according to BMI, I am overweight, and I don't want to be overweight. But I was always feeling good in my own skin, more or less. But then BMI and all this lovely, social media pressure, I was like, oh man, I think I need to lose some pounds, a few pounds here and there, and to feel better. Now I forget about the BMI, because BMI is just one of the indications. If there is a problem, to like a red flag, hey, pay more attention what you eat, how you eat, exercise. And Super Dawn shared good article about the BMI and the waist size, that you can still be slim, but your waist is growing because your organs are surrounded by fatty tissue. And what is fat? Fat is our protection. So when we are exposed to toxins, and I'm not saying, you go and sniff, I don't know, exhaust pipe from the car, or eat, something sprayed with glyphosate or anything else.
Super Don and I picked the wrong day to stop sniffing glue. Isn't that right, Super Don? You remember that?
Didn't we all?
Airplane.
Ooh, Airplane. Ula, do you know that movie?
No.
Oh, okay. So,
oh, yes, the airplane.
Airplane.
Of course, yes.
That was one of the lines in there that, you seem to be aware of a lot of things, even stuff I'm not aware of, like The Office. Like, you make jokes about it. It's inside. I still don't know.
Well, you have to start watching. I cannot emphasize the glorious Office.
I already have too much laughter in my life. Why would I want to add more?
You just have to. And the cringiness of Michael Scott, I mean, you have to watch it.
All right. So, but they didn't do a show on belly fat and emotional stuff, did they?
Actually, there is episode when Michael Scott is dressed in a sumo suit, blown up sumo suit, and he's got a proper suit on it, and he plays Fat Michael. But anyway, yeah, so there was fat awareness and fat shaming, and
all of that was included. Okay.
yes.
All right.
But let's get back to the stubborn fat.
Mm-hmm.
Fat is our protection. When we get toxic food, toxic air, toxic water, again, there's many people, including myself. A few years ago, I was just drinking tons of water because I was on this wonderful weight loss program, eating a lot of powdered smoothies and whatever, ready-made. I'm not saying that it's, all wrong, because we did lose a lot of weight, especially Mark. It's effective if you're trying to lose weight, and you can lose weight very quickly, very effectively if you're like an actor for a role, but then it's very unhealthy. So what we are talking about is the stubborn fat and emotional side of weight loss. And I listened to this lady in my recent lecture, Sophia Honhold, and she made a great point about, weight loss, why everybody wants to lose weight. When you lose something, that means, you're trying to find it. Even subconsciously, loss means I need to find it back. I need to get it back. So that's subconscious.
It's a program that you're not aware of, a subtle
that's right.
thing like I got to get it back.
That's why she started using term with her clients, weight release. What you release, you let go of. And then, of course, there are many different obstacles in our head that we don't deal with, and they accumulate. And it's like a physical stressor on our body.
Weight release.
Because emotions.
Yes, I like that concept.
Release.
And I think I want to nuance this just for a moment here, Ula. Muscle weighs more than fat.
True.
So if we're also talking about weight, you could actually get fit, lose fat, but gain weight with more muscle tone, for instance. So the concept of even reducing, or what was it, releasing weight, might need to be modified as well to, if you want to say fat cells, or I would say toxins, releasing toxins. Once you recognize that the fat is an insulator and it retains the toxins to protect the vital organs of function when the liver and kidneys and lymph are overwhelmed. It's an adaptation for survival, and certain body types lend themselves more toward weight gain in certain areas. Particularly, we know about the danger of the belly fat. They talk about the brown fat, whatever. I think it's because of the toxins that it contains. And if we do a starvation weight loss and we don't address liver, kidney, lymph, and excretory function, we can release the toxins to circulate again, and the liver already couldn't handle it. So one of the aspects I think that people overlook, and I think it's coming around, I hear more of the awareness of it, is that when we're looking to, quote unquote, lose weight or lose fat, that we now have to make detoxification a fundamental starting and continuing point throughout that a journey, right? To do it safely.
Right. Yes. So we can call it emotional weight release, because that's the tricky part. You can eat healthy. Like, I thought I was eating healthy and clean, organic, non-GMO. After watching The Secret Ingredients by Jeffrey Smith, I love this documentary and I share it with whomever I can. It talks a lot about losing weight as a bonus, because once you start clearing your body out of toxins, the weight loss is automatic. It's just a bonus. It's not that you are eating clean to lose weight. Exactly. It's a side benefit.
Yeah, I like it
so
too.
I drew this little thing. Dr. Ravi actually had in one of his lectures. I don't know if you can see.
Yeah, look at that. Okay.
All right. So I know I'm a wonderful artist drawing in 3 minutes. This little guy is, you see those little things?
Yep.
Those are the toxins
Right.
surrounded by fatty tissue. And then we are trying to lose weight. Let's say starvation diet, limited calories and whatever. You get slim. But then the toxins, the fat is melting because you're starving. You are in the form of ketosis and the fat is going away.
Toxins going everywhere, though.
Toxins are released. Exactly. So no longer protected by those fatty cells.
Yeah.
You become thin, but more toxic. If you don't eliminate this toxic waste from your body, okay, the sad face, like, what is going on? You start putting weight
back on, and you're like, what happened? Come on, I thought I lost all that weight.
Exactly, because your body is trying to protect itself from those toxins, defending itself and putting those protective layers of fat, even more fat, because like, we have to fight this.
Dr. Ravi is on. He knows it so well.
Yes. And he's a wholesome eating, mindful eating, wholesome foods and everything is amazing. The program, how to detoxify, because the toxins that we store, again, you can lose weight fast, like actors for the role, but then again, you bounce back up with even more fatty tissue. But that's just the physical side. Now we're talking about the emotional constipation. I love this term because, you can really visualize based on physical constipation. You eat the wrong food, you don't hydrate, you don't deal with the food that you eat, that consume, and you get constipated. The same with emotions. Something happens, but you are either scared or you just don't want to deal with. Traumatized, yes. And this lady, Sophia Honhold, she brought up a great illustration of a thorn. She was like, imagine that something traumatic, something really hurtful happens to you. It's like a thorn in your hand. And then this thorn gets, sore. But instead of pulling it out, dealing with it, we tend to just mask it. No, it's fine. I'm fine. It's okay. It's just a thorn. I'll be okay. You go on with your life. Then you start doing something with your hand. Ow, it hurts. It hurts. Anything that reminds you, to use hands, remind you, ow, I have this thorn. You start using lotions and potions and ointments just to ease the pain, to numb this hurt, the pain. You start putting Band-Aids. Then, you work, you try to hug someone, ow, it hurts. Anything you try to do, something nice, even if someone tries to give you something, you cannot receive it because the hand has this thorn. This thorn gets inflamed. The more of the hand gets inflamed, like physically. But this is emotional thorn. Then you start putting the bubble wrap around it because it hurts so bad.
Protect it.
And then you just cut yourself out from anything, that you could do, enjoy life to the fullest because of this thorn.
Wow.
Instead of dealing with this thorn.
Very powerful visuals there.
This is the visual, yes. So let's say something happened, something traumatic happened. And instead of, face your fear, face your trauma, something that really happened, even the person that hurt you, usually they don't even realize that they hurt you so bad that you're holding it in.
You're holding anger for someone that has no earthly idea that they did anything.
That's right.
And you're like, oh, they probably know it, and they're happy about it. They're like, no, I had no idea, right? And you're holding all this anger.
It's true.
Yeah.
And then you build up resentment towards them, towards other people. You build the walls around you because you don't want to get another thorn from anyone else. And it's like a roller coaster, a waterfall avalanche. And so we have to deal with this thorn, but you don't pull the thorn when it's wrapped up. You have to get those layers out. So this is how our body, you're eating clean, everything is fine, but this emotional component gets really deep in
And
our
it becomes a block
mind.
to
Yes,
the desired goal or the
it's a
perceived.
hindrance.
Yeah, very much a hindrance. Well, listen,
So
if you're carrying a lot of extra weight too, there's so many risk factors we've talked about in the era of COVID crazy. What was it, like 78% of all the people that died, even if we dispute the true cause of death, they were obese. That's not a small percentage, right? So we talk
Right.
about the risk factor for carrying this out around, even if you're eating well and you're carrying this as as an emotional buffer due to emotional constipation. I mean, you're subjected to all kinds of ailments and illnesses and stresses, including skeletal issues, arthritic conditions, aches, low back
Right.
pain, things like that. So we're going to
Yes.
talk more about this emotional constipation when we come back and what to do about it. We'll see if Super Don has a nice emotional cup of coffee, putting it in the wrong end. If that will resolve it, I don't know. We'll find out. But Marjorie Wildcraft, our friend, has got a great idea for folks that are saying, you know what, I'd like to garden, but it hurts. I mean, I'm achy. My back's aching. What do I do? And in addition to eating well, growing your own food, what if you have the complaints like, I just can't do it because I'm physically unable? Marjorie Wildcraft has some insights. We're going to take a visit to the garden and come back and we'll resolve this weight issue. And Ula's helping us. She's our tour guide today to get there. All right, y'all. Thanks for being here. Go to robertscottbell.com. Back after a visit to the garden. All right, here we go. Back at it now. No, I wasn't talking about you, Ula. What are you apologizing for, Ula?
Crinkling the paper.
Oh no, I was
My
watching.
notes.
I was watching the Marjorie Wildcraft thing, and at
Ah.
the end there, the music bed came in. I was like, "Oh, that was loud in my ear." Sorry for everybody, but that's Super Don, not me. I didn't do that. Just saying.
You're just whining.
Yes,
Yes.
this is whining Friday. That's why I have Ula on to help balance me out. Anyway, we were talking about, I guess, an issue that sometimes we guys overlook. We carry a little extra, like, what the heck? We remember those beer bellies. My dad had a beer belly. He did drink beer. Super Don's not drinking beer. He's just sitting down a lot. And I'm just encouraging, I try to exercise for Super Don too, and I don't know if it works or not, but I try. In the meantime, we go back into the emotional state. You did a great visual there, Ula, on describing how this thing manifests. And, I just look at the ways to resolve it, because if it were as easy for some of these people that are in that state to just eat clean, right? Okay, I can choose that. But as you say, you can do all of that and still be frustrated that you're not achieving the goal.
Right.
And then people go, well, what's the point of eating well? And then it compounds the problem, because they go, well, that didn't work. And they go back on a bad diet, which compounds the toxic burden.
Oh,
and they
yes.
are not yet addressing, maybe they're not aware of the emotional baggage that's manifesting physically in this case.
And it could be something simple like, one small thing that, it's hanging there in the back of your head and preventing you to let go. So we all deal with emotions, but the problem is none of us really know how to deal with. I mean, most of us don't know how to deal with our emotions. We don't know how to address our feelings. It's like, especially if there is some religious, spiritual weight as well. Like, I shouldn't feel those feelings. It doesn't mean that you have to act upon those feelings, but if you have some certain feelings, you have to address those feelings, feel them, address them, and find out why you're feeling a certain way.
Well, do you mean like guilt? Like when you go to certain
For example, yes. Yeah. Or feeling unworthy, or of love, of even being, more financially comfortable than others, and different things, jealousy, unresolved relationship issues, something, traumatic, even depression. We don't deal with depression. It can manifest in weight gain.
Right. I do want to go back to the word guilt because I perceive this, and growing up Jewish guilt, right? You've heard of Catholic guilt, things like that. And, the moms or the whatevers, they try to guilt you, that kind of concept. And
Right.
I'm thinking, it's bad enough that we may have low self-esteem. Now you want to compound the problem of something you feel bad about doing, and you wallow in that and maintain the state of beating yourself up as if that's a high spiritual thing to do. Whether it be called self-flagellation emotionally or otherwise.
Yep.
It's like God loves you so much. You're a creation of God, and you're going to sit there and diss yourself for making a choice that now you say, well, I regret, I feel bad about it. Do you wallow in it? Is that going to help, or is that going to create more problems? Because some people say, well, I feel better that I feel guilty about it because at least now God knows I did wrong, and I know I did wrong. It's like, I don't think God wants us to wallow in that state.
Right. Well, that's the beauty of being myself. I'm speaking for myself, being a Christian, that once you confess your sins to God, you carry this burden and lay it down at the cross. But very often, like Mark was preaching in his sermon, very often people come, lay their burden, cast their burden at the feet of the cross, and then, they have sweet time with the Lord, but then time to go on with my life, move on, put this burden back and walking with this burden, and it's going heavier and heavier.
Yeah, they don't really unload it. And again,
yes,
I know we have people
release.
from all different, release is the word here, people from all different faiths and backgrounds here, and that concept is still sound, no matter what people call it.
Absolutely.
The turning it over to God, turning it over to Spirit, whatever you have, and really allowing it to be washed away, that concept. Now,
so that brings me to the first solution to the toxic emotional weight release. So prayer and meditation. You come to the Lord with your problems, with the feelings, because not everyone is open book and wants to share and blab, oh, I feel this, I feel, you hurt me, you whatever. So we keep it in, and we can unleash those emotions and release in front of God, in prayer. So when we pray and meditate, we can really visualize releasing those hurtful feelings and ask for forgiveness from God. But we want, to forgive the person that mistreated us or caused this thorn to be stuck for so long. And very often, even when we tell the person, like, I forgive you, they're like, what are you talking about? Oh, I had no idea. So forgiving them, we are forgiving ourselves and opening up the gateway for this release.
Yeah.
So that's very important point, prayer and meditation.
Because that God forgives all the time.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so it's we that hold on to, again, the guilt or, self-judgment and doubt and fear, all of these things that diminish us, not in the eyes of God, in my perception, but in our self-reflection. We look back and we don't see the divinity that God sees, or when we try to inspire others to find that godliness in someone else, to be able to see the highest in them and, encourage them up rather than, going down and kind of reinforcing a negative self-image. It's a challenge at any point in time because it's too easy to fall prey to the emotions of like judgment, on and on it goes. And until you walk in their shoes, you really don't know often what they're going through. And yet we also know some people aren't ready to unload and release the emotions that they become so identified with, they're so attached to, they can't determine that it's an emotion that they can release because it becomes their identity.
That's right. But there are, again, some great techniques which I learned about tapping. And it's behind the ear, tap. And then there are affirmations and you release, like, I have full control over the right ear. I'm glad I'm in control of what I eat.
Yes.
I am glad that I'm eating healthy food that nourishes me. And all the positive, that you are in control. You have the power to choose the right things to eat. The left side is the meridian ending with the ring finger. It's very good. It's the triple warmer. And it's very important to just say, I'm glad I'm not. I'm glad I'm not addicted to this sugar cookie eating, or I'm glad I'm not craving those sweets at midnight. I'm glad I don't have to act on those things. So those tapping techniques are amazing. Prayer, meditation, tapping techniques. There are different exercises. Also, you can Google. There's plenty on YouTube. Great weight release techniques, and you basically put your body into vibration, and then again you release emotions, and through your muscles they're like shh, and you
Are
just
you talking
release.
about stepping on one of those vibration plates or something
Oh
less,
no, that
less
would
technical?
be easy.
Yeah.
No, it's more like going against the wall and bending your knees, like as if you are sitting on the chair, you know, and then after a few seconds, your muscles, your
Oh,
legs
I
start
hate those.
shaking.
Like in between
Oh,
rounds, they
yeah.
say, all right, we'll do a wall sit now. I'm like,
Yeah.
really? And then they say, raise one leg. And I'm like, no.
My girls hate me
Yeah.
for that.
Yeah.
Yes,
That's
I
brutal.
do those exercises. Yes, but they are amazing if combined with conscious, mindful, toxic emotional release. So
Are you teaching classes yet where you are for the whole congregation?
I am. Well, not the entire congregation, but I have fitness classes for my ladies in church. And depending on the level of their experience and, a physical ability, we do different things. But I really push them to the limits.
Do you know how, I don't want to like set in stone, but when I think of this, how hard some of these things are apparently to achieve. Maybe it's just a belief about it. But having talked to many women counsel over the years, those that were trying to lose, for lack of a better say, weight, but it's really the fat.
Yep.
And then realizing that the patterns that go back a long time, even Bruce Lipton talks about even unconscious programs from childhood. Parents didn't mean to, they didn't even know what they were doing. And they programmed certain self-doubt, less than stellar views of yourself. And those things tend to, again, make the buffer necessary, the fat to protect you from the hurt, the wounds, etc.
Yes.
And as I said, to lose quote unquote weight or to slender up, that's funny enough, cake compared to dealing with the emotional, unconscious, painful things that are really the resonance that keeps people trapped in the image that they don't want, right? A self. It's like I really, this is the image I want. I can't seem to achieve it. I'm doing everything, and so I like your techniques. I like the specific simplicity of what you're throwing out there, and the fact that you're meeting and supporting one another in the group that you're with now.
Exactly. Support is another big thing, and it doesn't have to be support like we're all in the same boat together, but even support from your husband, just giving you words of affirmation and encourage, like yes, I want to help you, and especially with emotions. So if there is something happening, like it could be even like holding on to love and intimacy issues. And you feel too shy or too embarrassed to talk about it, and it's like growing, and there is problems in that area because you're feeling insecure about something. It could be man, it could be a woman, but so this could be another component that you're holding on to and you're not releasing because you're too shy to talk to anyone.
Sure.
And then once this release happens, the weight loss is just a bonus.
Then it becomes a miraculous side benefit, as we say.
Yes,
and,
yes.
And there are other factors. Again, we don't mean to oversimplify, but we were focusing a little bit on the emotional things. But there can be other things that you overlook. It's like women who are on birth control, the messing with the hormones. That also can create the weight gain. And even coming off of them, your body's trying to go, what is going on here? And so, again, we come back to detoxification, support for the liver, obviously putting good things in to normalize endocrine function. But these things play havoc if you mess with your emotions synthetically. I'm sorry, your hormones synthetically. Your emotional body is going to be affected by that as well.
Right. And another interesting thing that I learned from Dr. Nuzum when I was on his protocol, when I was like, I think I'm still too young to have the menopausal symptoms, but I get those hot flashes every now and then, and I wake up in the middle of the night, and cold sweat and all the menopausal symptoms. I was like, I think you're too young, but anything is possible. We're living in the very toxic environment and everything.
Yeah.
And he was like, but having parasites may imitate menopausal or premenopausal symptoms. I was like, whoa. So then, when you do the cleanse, before you address the hormones, check if you have any parasites. You can muscle test, muscle response test, and check for the parasites. There's and yeast infections and stuff like that. And then if you detoxify from that, if symptoms cease, that means, it's not hormonal. It was just parasite infection. So very often ladies, middle-aged ladies like myself or a little bit older, they get those symptoms and they don't realize that it could be something as simple as parasitic infection.
Well, and we look at intestinal type cleansing, whether it be aggressive. There are herbs that are very harsh if you do have parasites that can more safely than toxic medicines cleanse the gut. We've, of course, talked for years about the silver aloe protocol as another accelerated way to cleanse and heal the gut itself. We've talked about the Alta Cangest as a wonderful herbal combination product that's amazing. Works also with the liver, which is, again, something we need to, people overlook it even today, and how to deal with it. And I'm looking at the yard right now, and we're covered with beautiful yellow little flowers coming up. These are dandelion flowers.
Yes.
And I'm just thinking, my gosh, people spend money to have people come and poison their lawn with glyphosate and other toxic ingredients to kill a plant that can heal your liver and detoxify your body and even cure and reverse cancer.
Right.
And so just another tip for the garden and the lawn: stop it. Stop it with the poisoning of the lawn, because you're poisoning your body and you're not utilizing the gifts of creation that can help facilitate more powerful cleansing on a gentle, I say powerful, but gentle on a daily basis. I love dandelion tea in the morning. Every morning I do. And that's, part of what right now in the spring in the Northern Hemisphere, you'll see a lot of these things pop up. You can be snipping these beautiful little flowers and using them. Every bit of the dandelion is usable.
Yes, even the leaves. Yes, absolutely. And like you mentioned, Cangest tea, beautiful, because it also helps to rebuild the good bacterial flora and make the bowel movement a lot easier and more frequent. So getting rid of the toxic waste from our body, physical waste, that's all combined.
So what is the equivalent then of an emotional coffee enema? Not to bring Super Don into the mix, maybe he has an opinion on this. So, but we talk about coffee enema very specifically. Liver detox, right? Liver also associated with anger as far as emotions. Right. But just an emotional coffee enema, what's the equivalent of that? So
we have to come first, ask yourself a question: what my fat is protecting me from? Because always fat is a protective layer. So what is the main stressor? Once we address that, then we can apply the emotional coffee enema, which could be addressing the fear or trauma or emotion feeling. Feel those feelings, realize that you have those feelings, and then learn how to deal with those feelings and release them. Like I said, prayer and meditation, for me, this is number one, because I've learned, if I'm honest with God, then he can help me through his word, through meditation, I believe, through his music and different things. Then you can do the tapping techniques. That's, it's a physical, but it works on the emotional, because you speak those affirmations, and then you release even the words. Like I said many times to my girls in church, emotions, the words have power. It's energy and frequency. So depending on the words that we speak and how we speak, with our emotions, it all comes together. So if we project that, yes, I am in control of my weight, I am in control of my health, I am in control of those emotions, of this thorn, and I'm going to unwrap and take those layers of protection out, and then deal gently, address this thorn and pick it out and heal. Let the body heal.
So I'm waiting for the emotional healing workshop from Ula. We can help promote on the Robert Scott Bell Show, because clearly.
Well, my pleasure. I'm still studying. I am going deeper. Like I said, in Trinity, it was just the beginning. It was just in the general terms and a few little tricks here and there. But I was like, wow, that's amazing. So
you're
I
like
dove deeper and
a healing sponge. You're getting all this information and very rapidly being able to assimilate it and then communicate it out beautifully. It's just so exciting to see.
I'm excited because this is like something that I can apply to myself and to my family. I'm already seeing change in Mark. We are both emotional eaters, and yes, when there is stress, it's like, again, emotions, stress manifests in a physical stress because it goes straight to the sympathetic system and fight or flight response. So again, we need fat to protect because we don't know what's happening. And the more you keep on having this stress responses, the bigger layer.
What about other aspects of facilitating types of body work, chiropractic care? Have you seen to help emotionally?
Goodness. Yes. Absolutely. Chiropractic adjustments can help also. Again, this is with emotional and neurological flow, of energy. Acupuncture, again, it's flow of energy. So there can be some blockages because emotions. So the chi gets stuck. And with acupuncture, it flows, it opens up and it flows beautifully. And then, of course, through organic, non-GMO diet, drinking the right water, because I was drinking a lot of water with my weight loss program diet and everything. And I was not losing enough weight, in my opinion.
Yes.
Again, and I was having headaches and stuff because I was drinking the wrong kind of water, bottled water from the shop.
Yeah, the plasticizers and everything. What about smoking cigars for weight loss? Anything there?
Oh, hashtag Megaphone Marine.
Busted. Our buddy, Dr. Cordy.
On the air.
Dr. Cordy's joining us in hour 2. And he's watching. He's laughing now. Man. He's like,
I think it's just a prop, right?
It's a prop. Total prop.
He knows better than that. Come on.
We love Dr. Cordy.
No, we are all for freedom, right?
Yes,
and liberty.
Exactly.
So if he chooses to, we have to.
Hashtag leave Cordy alone. Come on, man.
We'll see if he's still going to come on the show in hour 2 now. Well, he's a Marine. Of course he's going to do it. But
don't mess with Marines.
No, But I'm looking forward to having him back on. We haven't had him on. He's been doing such adventures. Been watching what he's been doing since we've had him on. It feels like years ago. Man, so much has gone on. And so I'm excited about that. You said when I told you Cordy was on, you're like, you felt intimidated. I was like, but he's a nice guy. Why should you be intimidated?
And you said, but he smokes cigars. I'm like, okay, then I'm cool.
Oh, he is getting it now. This is the love that he's got to deal with, right? But we're going to have fun with him. Listen, Ula, thank you for all that you do. I'm just so amazed, and I shouldn't be, but that you're from Poland, that's amazing. But that you're here, that's amazing. And that you are smart as a whip, that's not amazing. That's just who you are too. And
I'm learning.
And but you're helping so many in the context of what you're learning, immediately trying to communicate that out, which is such an important part of it, not containing it to ourselves, constraining it. We must help others. Desperately, people are in need. And those that are putting their hands out, we got you. If you're not ready for it, that's okay. We're not going to force anybody. We believe in freedom, the fundamental laws of spirit and God, the freedom, even to screw up and do things that may be not so good for us, and we learn from them. And
like smoking cigars.
You said that. I didn't.
Oh, stop.
Yeah, I know. I know. Like for me, I'm going to find an organic one just to make Cordy feel better.
Right now, man.
All right, we're piling on now, but it's because Cordy doesn't come on enough. If he was on every week, we wouldn't have to do this. We just got to get him. And he can't defend himself till I turn his mic on. So there you go. Who's in control of the vertical and the horizontal now? All right, Ula, well, we'll see you tomorrow at the AMA for our patrons, supporters of the Robert Scott Bell Show. 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern. I don't know what time it is in Europe, but it's still daytime. So look forward to, please join us. And we've got a couple of new patron supporters. Super Don, who are they before we break for the hour, top of the hour?
Want to do a welcome to...
Is it Asia?
Asia and Carrie both joined this morning, actually.
Thank you. And Ula will make sure you feel comfortable when you join us tomorrow at the AMA. No intimidation required. And
thank you.
I'm just going to leave it at that. So thank you for being here. Can you tell us what we say at the end of each hour of the show?
Remember that the power to heal and quit cigars is truly yours.
Oh, no. Wait. All right. Wait, quick. Say it in Polish.
No. No, please.
Apparently, the power to speak Polish is not
hers. Not
mine.
So much for the Polish street cred. All right, we'll be right back with hashtag Megaphone Marine. Hashtag.
Thank you.
You know the guy. 1776 forever free. We're back because the power to heal is his too.